I'm Doug Romines, and this is my video book report on Nonprofit Mergers and Alliances by Thomas McLaughlin. For this video book report, I'm focusing on partnerships and collaboration in the nonprofit sector. The slide deck that accompanies this is a companion, and as I go through and narrate and explain the book report, it accompanies the slides. So, why would nonprofits partner or collaborate? The decision to seek out a partner or an ally usually comes from two different trains of thought. The first train of thought is from a nonprofit that may be in decline, has been in decline for a while. Their financials don't look so great. They might be struggling. So the leadership gets together and determines that they need to seek out an ally, somebody that they can collaborate with to help them out. The second train of thought is from a nonprofit that is strong. They have a clear path forward, and they realize that for their path forward, they need to partner or collaborate. There are a couple of different types of collaboration. There is collaboration on the economic level, collaboration on the responsibility level, and collaboration on the operations level. So, what is economic level collaboration? Most collaborations happen because of economic pressures. Change is painful to an organization, and the need arises to share, offset, due to economic pressures. So the first type of collaboration usually comes in the form of information sharing. This can be as simple as two nonprofits using the same vendor. They come together, they compare their pricing, they compare their invoices, their contract information. And it can also be as complicated as tracking their purchasing costs over a period of time, and then comparing the results, noting the differences, and both going back to that vendor, basically seeking a better deal. Another form of economic level collaboration would be nonprofits coming together in the bidding processes. Smaller nonprofits especially, they lack the power. So you have smaller nonprofits come together and join together in bidding processes for different contracts, and then with a separate agreement of how they're going to work that contract. This might cause their suppliers to become a little more aggressive in terms of pricing, but there's never any guarantees. The third form of economic collaboration is joint purchasing. And that's very common as well, where, again, smaller nonprofits don't have a lot of purchasing power. Definitely when you deal with vendors, the more you buy, the cheaper that it is. So smaller nonprofits get together as one for power and purchasing to make the most of their budgets. So with responsibility level collaboration, it's different than most of the other types of collaboration. It's where nonprofits actually share processes and resources between their organizations. An example is back office processes, where two or three nonprofits may get together because they're smaller. They really don't have the funds for technology resources or human resources, payroll, things like that. So they join together to share out those back office processes. There's a concept called circuit riding, which I found interesting, that comes from the old rural West, where judges would circuit ride to smaller courthouses that did not have the resources to institute a permanent judge. So, say Monday, the judge would be at one courthouse, leave that day, be at another courthouse on Tuesday, and ride a circuit, essentially. The way this fits in is, again, you could have technology resources where they may be in-house at one nonprofit on Monday and Tuesday, move to in-house at another nonprofit Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. The high integration collaboration is where the different nonprofits actually co-locate with their resources. Using technology again as an example, you can have a technology services company in an office building, and the nonprofits that utilize that technology company actually occupy space in the same building. So that helps keep their costs down, as well as being in close proximity to the resources that they utilize. Operations level collaboration was something that I had a very difficult time getting my head around. For operations level, you think of high level managers, CEOs, directors, that level. And in this type of collaboration, different nonprofits will share these high level operations officers. One way they do that is through shared training, where, as it suggests, nonprofits with similar needs will get together and utilize these high level officers to conduct specialized training. Really couldn't find any specific examples, but I do know that there is the thing called hazard communication training, where different levels of officers will engage the different companies, and in this case it'd be a nonprofit, on how to handle hazardous chemicals. It's a very standardized training. That would be an example. Joint programming, it's very difficult to this is a difficult collaboration to manage, because it deals with separate and distinct nonprofit organizations sharing a similar program. Think of an after-school program for children playing basketball. If you have 3 completely separate nonprofit entities all running the same after-school program, they will get together and utilize that officer in charge to basically join the programming through the different nonprofits. It's kind of an interesting concept. The United Way works like that to a certain extent. Quality standards is very similar. If we use the example of the after-school basketball program, where each distinct nonprofit uses the same processes and quality for each of their programs, regardless of the location. So if you walk into one nonprofit to get your kid to play basketball after school, it's exactly the same as going to any one of the other locations, even though they're completely different nonprofits. So, in summary, there are multiple types of collaboration between nonprofits for multiple reasons, but at the very bottom line, a nonprofit is going to collaborate because it gives them some type of advantage. Mostly economic, but again, we talk about shared processes, sharing vendors, coming together to get more purchasing power, coming together to look larger for a bidding process, that sort of thing. So, whatever type of collaboration there is, the nonprofit is going to do it out of some type of advantage. And again, this was the video book report for nonprofit mergers and alliances from Thomas McLaughlin. If there are any questions, please feel free to email me at rominead@grace.edu. Thanks.